All right, welcome to the January meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The first item up is the oath of office.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Lockenauer. I'm the city secretary, and I will be doing the oaths tonight. So if I can have Lisa, Nick, Paul, and Tyler stand. If you want to come to the front, that would be good. All right, so we're going to do a group oath. So if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Paul Ashman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the City of Stephenville and the State of Texas,
of the City of Stephenville and the State of Texas,
and will do to the best of my ability
and will do to the best of my ability
to preserve, protect, and defend
to preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state, so help me God.
and of this state, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I do have an oath certificate for each of you to sign.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the election of officers for the new year. Commissioners, do we have any nominations for president, or for chair?
I nominate Lisa Latouche.
Second.
Any other nominations? All those in favor of myself serving as chair, once again, say aye.
Aye.
All right, vice chair, any motions?
I nominate Brian Leslie as vice chair.
Second.
Anyone else? No? All right, all those in favor of Brian Leslie serving as vice chair for another year, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on. Next item is to consider the approval of minutes for December 21st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor of approving the minutes for December 2022, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, moving up to the public hearing. The first item on our agenda is case number FP 2023-001. Applicant Taylor Canute, representing Bosky Clark LLC, is requesting approval of a final plat of property located at 110 Clark Lane, parcel R63366 of the City Edition, being block 85, lots 1 and 2A, parts of, to the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is Taylor and Malcolm Canute. Very familiar with him as a developer. They do great work here in the city, and we got a project over in Clark Lane. It's a townhome project. They are under construction at this time. Public improvements have not been completed as of yet, but they are asking that we consider the final plat for approval. Staff have reviewed the final plat, and we have 15 conditions included in the staff report. I won't read through those unless you specifically ask me to, but Mr. Canute knows that the final plat, if approved, will be approved with conditions, and as soon as the conditions are completed, that would clear the path for the plat to be recorded at the county. And as you know, this is action strictly taken by planning and zoning. It does not require further action by city council. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Steve? Okay, I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this final plat? Anybody who wishes to speak against? All right, I'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, I need a motion.
I move that we approve FP 2023-001 with the conditions listed.
Second.
All those in favor of approving plat with conditions listed, say aye.
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 Those against? Okay, so that moves forward. That is approved with those conditions. Moving on to case numbers RZ 2023-001 and RP 2023-001. Applicant Andrew Hansen of Swiss Management LLC, representing John Whalen, is requesting a rezone of property located at 3050 West Washington, parcel R44948, being 13.836 acres out of 40.740 acres, A0613 Pearson Henry of the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from B2 Retail and Commercial Business to R3 Multifamily Residential District with simultaneous platting. Mr. Kelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the property has current zoning of B2, retail and commercial. Future land use is also commercial. Applicant is requesting that a rezone be considered to allow for a future project relating to multifamily. You see in the maps that we've included in the staff report that there is a multifamily property to the east of the parcel. The applicant is requesting approval for the rezone for a portion of this tract. And if approved, he will acquire the property and the conveyance plat will be filed with the county. If the rezone is not approved, then the replat would also be denied in conjunction with the fact that the rezone would not be approved. Mr. Hanson does great work in the city as well, and has a lot of projects in the city, and the staff is in support of this request.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and, Mr. Hanson, do you have anything that you'd like to add? Would you like to address us?
I'm available to answer questions. I mean, Steve explained it really well. This is the contract for this portion of the property. If you don't mind scrolling down a little bit, it's not that whole piece. It's 13.836 acres that are adjacent to the multifamily.
Page 31.
And so the contract is contingent on that portion getting rezoned. That's the only portion we are
That little bit to
Is
the
it-
right?
purchasing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think if you keep going down, I thought there was one in the packet that kind of,
No, that's the last
is that it?
page.
Okay. But
So-
the portion next to the current multifamily rezoning.
So that'd be.
that
So-
one- Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
The L shape.
okay.
And the
So
other
you'll
one's
have-
already multifamily next to it?
That's Bosque Apartments, Bosque.
Yeah, the Bosque River Apartments are
Right.
along
See
that
what
one, and then there's that is our sole mobile home part
Oh, yeah.
Behind
zoning
it, yeah.
behind
Okay.
it, yeah.
That's right.
Okay,
Will there be entrances off
I mean, we have
The
not
main
spent the
highway,
money
or-
on development. This was the conveyance plat for the purpose of closing on the land.
Okay,
We have, it's not for construction. If it's approved, then we'll start going down the architects, engineers, stormwater drainage.
all that.
Yes, ma'am.
But,
Okay.
to your point, there is an access point onto.
I was thinking there was.
377 and Bob White.
And
Yeah.
we have discussed the need for a driveway application to TxDOT when we get started on the actual development to make sure that TxDOT's in support of the access. So, Mr. Hanson's very knowledgeable in that area, and he was aware of it before I even brought it to his attention.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, I think that large piece has two access points, one on either end, sort of that.
Yeah, I mean,
the
it's kinda-
frontage,
it's-
so
it's
it looks
vacant
like you're
land.
good. Yeah,
I'm sure TxDOT will require a turning lane, but once again, we haven't even.
haven't gotten that far
No,
yet.
ma'am.
You haven't even hit up your permit guy? I know you got one.
We haven't done anything. It's all contingent on this right here.
all right, thank you, Mr. Hanson.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and open a public hearing now. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this rezone and plat? Is there anybody here who wishes to speak against? All right, I'll close the public hearing, commissioners. I need a motion so we can discuss.
I move that we approve the rezone request.
Recommend to council.
Yes,
Yes.
that is what I move.
Second.
Do we need to discuss? Anybody have any concerns?
No, I think this is it'd be a great use of that piece of property in keeping with,
No, it's
with the
kind of in the
land
middle
that's
of
around.
nothing right there, too close to the Bosque Center for really any kind of single family, is what I would think.
Mm.
And right there on that noisy corner. I lived in the Bosque apartment, so, yeah.
Okay. All right, then let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of recommending to council this rezone request with simultaneous plating, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that moves forward, Mr. Hanson, and you know the drill. Goes up to city council next.
On the 7th, correct?
Yes, first Tuesday of the month.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Final item on our agenda is case number AS 2023-001, abandonment of alley in the Cage Edition. Mr. Killer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So city staff's recommending that the commission consider a recommendation to council to abandon a 20-foot alleyway in the Cage Edition. This alleyway is bordered by ivy. It's west of Bates and south of Elm. And before I give the background on this, I'm going to step back even a step further on than what's in the report, but you may recall Mr. Mayo came for a rezone request on, I believe, 5 different parcels in that area, and we granted the rezone. It's for a multifamily project that he will be moving forward with. As you can see on the map on the screen, this alleyway cuts right through those parcels. And also in the alleyway, that bottom parcel, there's a sewer easement that cuts across there. Mr. Mayo is aware of that as well, and understands that we will have to maintain that sewer easement on that parcel if the alley is indeed abandoned for sale. So, in consideration of this request, for his project, the city council on January 3rd initiated action to abandon the alleyway. And once they initiate action, the next step is to move forward to planning and zoning for a public hearing. And that's why we're here tonight, is to hold a public hearing to see what direction you might want to suggest and the recommendation that you would forward to the city council for the abandonment of this alleyway. You're familiar with Mr. Mayo's work, lots of projects in the city. And then he controls at least, well, he controls all of those parcels with the exception of one. So, again, staff has reviewed this. We did check with other departments, and there were no objections and no further comments with the exception to Public Works. And Public Works comment was related to the being able to maintain that easement that traverses that bottom parcel of the project. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you.
To the south of Bates, is there a easement down through there, continuing on that sewer line?
It's the triangular lot, it's the railroad.
Yeah.
I believe that it cuts across there at an angle, traversing the property, and Mr. Mayo and I have discussed this. He's familiar with the easement. And
Yeah.
Don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you and I did discuss this when we were looking at the rezone and the consideration of this alley.
But that would be where that access to that easement would be, is off Bates then.
It would just be an easement that he could dedicate on the final plat.
Okay.
Has he done a utility study to make sure there's no other utility companies within that
Kind of
alleyway?
very preliminary review with city staff for
Okay.
his project, and we believe that, he's not considering, I think the density is pretty light
Okay.
for the most part for this type of development, and the existing utilities we believe are adequate.
No, well, what I was getting at is if there's anything existing in there, then he would have to either dedicate them an easement as well, or, that's what I do for a living, sorry, Steve.
Yes, sir.
That he would either have to dedicate them an easement or pay them to move out of the public right of way, if that's truly what it is right now. So I don't know if you called Atmos, has anybody called Atmos or AT&T or CenturyLink to say?
Mr. Mayor, could you come up to the microphone
Oh,
so
sorry.
we can capture this on?
I don't know if I was supposed to ask you questions
Yeah,
yet, I'm
it's
still
actually
new
supposed
here.
to come,
Right.
like, it's all supposed to come through the chair,
So,
official?
that would be my questions if we, on his Alta survey, if we had other utilities identified within that alleyway, and if they've agreed to abandon that alleyway as well.
Mr. Mayo, do you care to address
Well, I mean, I think the surveyor would have those notes on the survey of what utilities are there, easements are of record. That would all be in the survey.
Yeah,
So-
the city, I'm going to just, on the legal side, the city can only give up what they own. So if there are easements that are owned by utility companies, then even if we abandon the alleyway, we're not giving up their easements. And that would be something that Bo would have to address with any
No, and
easement
it wouldn't be an
owners.
easement, it would just be an alley agreement to where they can go through in the original plats or however the alleyway was originally dedicated.
And again, the city can only surrender what
Right.
they have rights to, so.
It's dedicated to the city of Stephenville.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any other utilities cutting through there.
Okay.
I believe it's absolutely just dead space at this point. And then as the development progresses, we will have utility companies review it to make sure that they don't have any lines or anything that have to be addressed before the construction begins. So
Absolutely.
that's a great point.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Mayo, do you have anything to add?
Not really. I mean, it's an old alley that goes through there. And the way I understood it when I bought the property, I got a survey, and the city only owns half of that going down through there. So I think. So I'll have to get this surveyors together and make sure, but it really is just an old, I guess it was gonna be a street at one point, and right now, there's an old trailer that's got the porches basically in the alley. And so, I mean, I'm gonna, when I develop it, I'm gonna remove all that stuff. Anyways, it's just, yeah, I just wanted to be able to tie the whole place together, basically.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a question, I think, for Steve at this point.
Go ahead.
But you can correct me if I'm wrong. In the past, when we've abandoned alleyways, all property owners that touch the alley have had the option to purchase. Is that the case here as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So if the Vest family,
So the next step would be whatever recommendation the commission gives to council, then the council makes the final determination. If they do decide to abandon the alley, then every person that has adjacent property to the alleyway would be given the option to purchase their proportional
Portion.
share of the alley.
okay,
And if they don't respond, then Mr. Mayo would have the option to purchase the entire
purchase
alley.
them, okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of the abandonment of the alley and the cage addition? Is there anybody here who wishes to speak against? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, I need a motion.
I recommend approval of AS 2023-001.
A second.
Any discussion? All right, the motion stands that we recommend to cancel abandonment of the alley and the cage addition. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that moves forward. So you know the drill as well. That goes forth to council. Ladies and gentlemen, we are
I move to adjourn.
done.
Did I jump the gun there? No.
That was great. That was beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
Good start to the new year.
Where are your pen? Okay, you guys.